Welcome back to Roo TV, your station for weekly updates on UMKC and the local Kansas City community. My name is Rex Stickney.
And I'm Deja, McKenzie.
On November 15th, UMKC Career Services hosted a free dinner event where students would be guided through the evening by a professional etiquette coach. Inside the Pearson Auditorium, students were told the ins and outs of professional behavior while dining on a 3-course meal. An emphasis was made to show guests how to network at a business dinner and how to handle a job interview while eating. This event and others like it can be a great resource for international students wanting to learn North American business culture or anyone looking to brush up on their professionalism. Be sure to stay active on Roo Groups and Handshake for more info.
During the week before we all went home for Thanksgiving, UMKC celebrated World Kindness Day. Students were encouraged to participate through the donations to the Kangaroo Pantry and United Way of Greater Kansas City. The Kangaroo Pantry, located in the Student Union, collects and distributes food to UMKC students, staff, and faculty. United Way aids 1 out of every 3 Kansas City residents every year through food and mental health assistance. While World Kindness Day is officially recognized on November 13th, UMKC participates for a whole week every year, so be ready to spread kindness again in 2023.
Recently, some students living on campus have been complaining about the quality of their meal plan. Residents at Oak Street and Johnson Hall are required to purchase a minimum $1,900 plan with no refund available and no option to opt out. At kcroonews.com, images can be seen of students who have been presented with undercooked meat and even insects in their food at the Atterbury Dining Hall. Although UMKC is not entirely to blame for this, as food service is outsourced to the Sodexo Group, one of the largest catering companies in the world. And while there have been unpleasant reports from students, the KC Health Department's inspection assures that there have been no critical code violations.
Sideshows, for the unfamiliar, are illegal car drifting events that usually take place in public intersections, which have become very popular in areas such as the Crossroads and the Power and Light District. Recently, Kansas City has begun taking steps to prevent these sideshows by installing small black plastic pucks on the road. These pucks are meant to hinder sliding or drifting tires as they pass over the surface of the road. There have been 3 deaths at illegal street racing or sideshow events in the last 2 months, and Mayor Quentin Lucas is looking for more ways to prevent these events without disrupting the day-to-day travel of KC residents.
Now we'll throw it over to Jackson, Josh, and Afnan for this week's roundup of sports and entertainment.
Welcome back into the den. I'm Jackson Ogden. I hope everyone enjoyed the week off, but in the sports world, there are no days off, so let me get you caught up on everything you might have missed. Our men's team headed down to Florida for the Gulf Coast Showcase and picked up some big-time wins. To kick off the tourney, they took on Toledo, and despite being 18-point underdogs, the Roos used a dominant second half to take home an 83-71 win. In the second round, the Roos took on Indiana State, and yet again were big dogs, and yet again they pulled it out with a tight 63-61 win. Unfortunately, the injury bug hit the Roos in the championship against Florida Gulf Coast, but they were still able to place second in a tournament that very few people gave them a chance in. They face off against Idaho State and Lindenwood here at home for this week's action. Our women's basketball team was also in action this past week, but unfortunately, they came up short in 2 road games against Santa Clara and Arkansas State. The lengthy road stretch will continue for them this week with games at Bradley and at Grand Canyon. Volleyball wrapped its season up before the break, and a few of our Roos got named to some awards. Kamira Whetstone was named to the All-Freshman team for the Summit League in her impressive campaign, and Odyssey Warren was named to the Honorable Mention for the All-League team. Congrats to both on a great season. On to national news, the Kansas City Chiefs are entering a big week. It's one that and I know other fans have been looking forward to since last January, the revenge game in Cincinnati. As I'm sure you all know, the Bengals broke the Chiefs' hearts into a million pieces last year in the AFC Championship game when they came back from down 21-3 to win. And if there's one thing I know about Patrick Mahomes, it's that he plays with a chip on his shoulder and does not forget. Wear your flashy clothes and expensive sunglasses to the game again, Joey B. But just know, you've got about the scariest thing possible coming your way, a pissed-off Chiefs team. I'm predicting Chiefs win a tough one, 27-24, and separate themselves from the conference. One last note before I sign off. By the time this airs, we will know the result, but the U.S. is fighting for their World Cup lives Tuesday against Iran. A win would advance the U.S. past the group stage, but a loss or tie would end what has been an impressive run by one of the youngest teams in the world. Well, that's all I've got for you this week. Go Chiefs, go USA, and as always, go Roos.
Welcome back to Arts and Entertainment. I'm your host, Joshua Cunningham, and today I'm going to do my top 5 songs you wouldn't think I would like, but I actually do. Coming out at number 5 is the artist that I've been slandering all semester. It's Taylor Swift. I know the Swifties are looking at me like, really? Are you serious? All the hate that you've given us? I know. But it's number 5 is Sweet Nothing by Taylor Swift. It was on the Midnight album. And this is one of the songs that raised that album from like a 4 to a 6 because it was just so good. This song's like an 8, honestly, or higher. I mean, it's just a really good song. I don't listen to it all the time. I still got to stay true to me. But there are, on occasions, I do listen to it, And number 4 is Backyard Boy by Claire Rosencrans. I don't think I said her name right, but if you remember 2020, the peak of TikTok in my opinion, when no one had anything better to do because of COVID, so they're all just going on TikTok making funny videos or making good songs, and this was one of those good songs that was on there. It's like, dance with me in my backyard, boy. That one, if you remember that one, I like it a lot, okay? It feels good. I feel like I'm in summertime, just having a good time every time I listen to it. And number 3, I would have to say, is Threw My Love Away by Okie Dokie. Very weird band name, although I kind of like it. But the song I really like. I mean, the more I listen to it, the more I like it. It's just such a different style than anything I've listened to. Almost feels like, old, like a stereo, but it's just really good. I like that song a lot. The next song is really depressing, so just prepare your hearts if you are going to listen to any of these songs. If you choose this one, you might be a little more sad after listening to it than you were before. So it's called You Want a Baby by Hobo Johnson. You guys know I listened to Hobo Johnson already, but you probably wouldn't think I would like this song and listen to this song quite a bit, but I used to listen to it a lot. I was in a very different headspace back then, I'll be honest, but I still like the song quite a bit. And number 1 is Panic by Carson Elliott. He was also famous during the 2020 era of TikTok. He used one of those talk box things where they play the piano and sing through it. And with this song, he used that the whole time as well. So when I heard it the first time, I was kind of like, I don't know. I'm used to just people singing regular. But the more I listened to it, the more I liked it. And I listened to it recently on my drive back to KC, and I was just screaming it. It was so good. So I suggest that you listen to all these songs, but if you want to hear the most weird, outlandish one, listen to that one. And that's all I have for you guys. Follow me on Instagram at mr.cunning123. I'm going to put a poll on songs you think I wouldn't like, and I'm going to listen to them, and I'll tell you if I like them or not. And come back to Roo TV for next week to see my top 5 favorite Christmas movies.
Welcome back to Roo TV. My name is Afnan Hussein, and to commemorate the end of the year, I'm going to share with you some of my December reads and hopefully convince you to read them with me. First, we have If We Were Villains. Oliver Marks has just served 10 years in jail for a murder he may or may not have committed. On the day that he is released, he is greeted by the man who put him in prison. Detective Colborn is retiring, but before he does, he wants to know what really happened a decade ago. This book is a murder mystery, thriller, and fantasy fiction. The second book is They Both Die at the End. This book focuses on 2 teenage boys, Mateo and Rufus, who discover that they only have 1 day left to live. The good news, there's an app for that. It's called The Last Friend, and through it, Rufus and Mateo are about to meet up for one last great adventure, to live a lifetime in a single day. This book is set in New York City, and is young adult fiction, adventure fiction, and LGBT literature. The third book is The Atlas Six. I will admit I was pressured by Book Talk to read this book, but I hope it's good. The Alexandrian Society is a secret society of magical academics. This dark academic fantasy debut has a cult following for a reason. Every decade, 6 of the most uniquely talented magicians are selected to join a secret society that cares for the lost library of Alexandria. But, as with most elusive invitations, there is a catch, which you have to read to find out. This book is all types of fantasy: dark, urban, fiction, contemporary, and paranormal. Now I'm going to read to you an excerpt from chapter 1. The moral of the story is this: beware the man who faces you unarmed. If in his eyes you are not the target, then you can be sure you are the weapon. Here at the library their lives would change. Here their former selves would be destroyed. Eternal glory, unparalleled wisdom, things that no ordinary eyes would ever see and that no lesser minds could possibly understand. If you like this book review, check out my Instagram at afhussein_ for more. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for tuning into this week's episode of Root TV. Be sure to hit the notification bell and subscribe for more UMKC and KC community news.
And check out our Instagram at RootTV UMKC. See you next week.
Here we're doing it. We're going.
Do 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 do.